Hi, we're at the beautiful Red Rock Campground in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today we're going to be discussing about the gears that you need to go indoor climbing and outdoor sports climbing. We'll be going over things like harnesses, shoes, helmets, quick draws, anchor systems, different kind of blank devices, different kind of carabiners. We'll go over a little bit about slings, more safety gears that we'll need for sports climbing and other stuff. And most importantly, we're gonna be discussing about ropes. There's a lot of information you need on the ropes, so stay tuned. And all right, we're back at the lab. Before I get started, if you are just starting to get interested in rock climbing, let me suggest you this. Get yourself a harness and some shoes and go to your local climbing gym. Even if you don't have a harness or climbing shoes, go to your local gym because they have gears for you to rent over there to be safe. And go out there and sign yourself for about a month or two and try to meet other people that is climbing. And that way you'll be able to meet other people that has the same interest that you have. And you make a connection. There's a lot of instructors there and people that work there that can probably answer any kind of question that you have that will teach you about rock climbing indoors and outdoor sports climbing. All right, but let's get started. If you are interested in rock climbing and you do want to get a basic gear, of course the first thing that comes to our mind is cost. So today I'll be going over some costs and different kind of ones that we can actually use that comes with every single gear. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with talking about a harness. There's different kind of harnesses. These are name brands that I just kind of put up. That's just like a main known top brands. There's many different kinds, so don't just go off those names, but those are the most ones that I personally trust. There's different kinds of harnesses. There are harnesses with one has a loop that goes up and down like this that's connected by these two belts over here. Those are for climbing, rock climbing. And there's other ones that actually have one loop like this. These are for canyoneering and mountaineering, so try to avoid getting those unless you plan on just doing rappelling and other stuff like that. Also, before you get a harness, there's cheap ones out there. There's cheap harnesses, I think like maybe 30-40 bucks that you can get. Just like this one I got. It doesn't have any cushion, it's just like nylon is held on. These are okay to start off with, but if you start climbing, you learn that it drags on your hips a lot. So try to get a harness with had a little bit of cushion. Mine is a black diamond, and I do have a little bit of cushion. I believe I paid $60 for these, and this is probably one of the cheapest ones they got. But now that I'm doing multi-pitching, I do want to get some stuff with a little bit more cushion on it. So that's what I'm looking for. Typically, I went to the REI the other day. I think a beginning harness could be anywhere from $65 to $100. So it depends on your range of cost that you want to pay. But get yourself a decent harness. All right. Climbing shoes. Now there is many different kinds of brands. Okay, and every single one fit different. So this is what I did when I started doing indoor rock climbing. I went and bought me a pair of these. And it was like maybe like $60. It was probably one of the cheapest shoes that's out there, and I was happy with it. These worked for a while. Eventually, now I'm starting to do a lot more outdoor climbing. We're doing harder multi pitches and harder climbs. So, last year I got me some Scrabas. I love these shoes, but when you guys choose a shoes, whatever cost effective is for you, you do the research, how much you have, so how much you want to spend on gear, so you choose the right thing. But try to pick at least a decent brand as one of these. All right, there's different kinds of shoes. They have ones with laces, okay? And laces are okay, but I don't think they're very, very easy for you to climb with. Now, they also have ones with Velcro. Now, I believe the Velcro is the next best thing because as you're climbing, you'll notice that your feet is tight and tired, so it's easier for you to just Velcros just go back and forth, and they still, I climb with some of the Velcros and they still work good as the ones that tie your shoes. So it's really up to you what your comfort is, but I think it's more convenient to have one that has the Velcro. That's why when I purchased these, one thing I really regret was not getting one that has a Velcro. Another thing that's a big topic about shoes is size. When I started rock climbing, of course I didn't know anything, so I bought me shoes like like any kind of shoes I would buy. I bought half size bigger than what I would normally wear. And in climbing world, I guess it's very common for people to have tight shoes. You want your shoes to be tight with your feet, so you're using your full leverage of it. And yeah, that's good and all, but like for me, I think comfort is okay too. So I wouldn't suggest you buying something a size bigger, but I would get a shoes that is comfort right, same as your length of your feet. So if you wear 8.5 shoes and you can fit into an 8, I would suggest you get an 8. But don't get shoes that's like 7.5. That's gonna be super tight and super jammy. And they're like, oh, you'll work better, because after climbing for a couple years, it doesn't make that big of a difference unless you're doing like 5.12, 5.13s where you actually need it. But if you're just starting off for the first couple years, get yourself a nice pair of comfortable shoes. I'll be honest with you guys. When I bought my second pair, I was all about that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna climb good, and I'm gonna be aggressive with it. And I bought me real tight shoes. And now when I climb, I barely tie on my strings, just because they're so uncomfortable. Even if I climb without it, it's just it just bothers me, especially if I'm doing multi pitches. When it's super tight, it just gets annoying, and it takes a lot of mental stress when you can use that stress onto the climbing that you're doing. And I think that's what I got. Just make sure you guys get one that's comfortable and that has a Velcro. Don't listen to the out there saying, oh, you have to get tight shoes. All right, so now that you're in indoor climbing and you're ready to explore the outdoor world of sports climbing, these are the gears that you'll need. I'll go over stuff like why I purchased the gears and price range. If you don't have a budget limit, you don't really have to listen to that. But when I bought my gears, I was on a budget. So here's some of the stuff that I learned. First thing you want to do is get yourself a helmet, okay? I went to REI, got myself a black diamond helmet. I think this is probably one of the cheapest one. I think it cost me about 60-70 bucks. So go get yourself a helmet. I think the cheaper ones, $60-70, work well as good as the other one. It's better than having no helmets. So if you're looking for a budget price, get yourself some $60-70 helmet. Still good. I still use the cheap one that I bought back in the days. Do not take a bicycle helmet to the crag, because people might make fun of you for that, but that's a whole different story. So get yourself a helmet. All right, guys, next thing we're gonna move on is to you're gonna need quick draws. Let me tell you guys something about quick draws. There's many different kinds. When I actually started looking into the quick draws, I was doing some research on YouTube and reading up some stuff, and I didn't really know, because to buy quick draws, when you buy a whole set of them, you usually get 6 in a pair. I mean, in a group. And most of the climbs here at Red Rock, at least, they have about 7, 8, 9 bolts. So you're actually gonna need 2 different sets. Now, if you look at 2 different sets and you're on a budget and you're looking at Black Diamond, they're about $100 for a pair of 6. So if you buy 2 of them, you're looking at $200. So I started looking into the other brands like in Amazon's, and then I started doing some research, and I ran into this YouTube guy named How Not to Highline. I think it's called How Not to now, but that's who I ran into, and he was breaking all these different kind of carabiners and all different kind of things, and some of the gears that I was interested in, that aftermarket prices, which I believe they're made in China. He was breaking them, so I was like, you know what? Let me see what kind of killer news they break it at. These ones right here, all the tests he did, they broke at between 24 to 26 kilonewtons. Now, if you don't know anything about kilonewtons, if you are rock climbing any kind of the most hardest fall, most difficult, the most that you should generate is probably 6 kilonewtons at the most. All right. So to have 24 kilonewton, I knew these were safe. So, you know, if you're out there listening, thank you very much for the breaking those, you know, carabiners and quick draws for us, because I really appreciated it. So when I saw that, and these were about $60 per 6, I was like, hey, if I buy 2 of them, it's only $120. I'm saving actually $80 if I don't get the black diamond. So I chose this. Now that I have been climbing a little bit, if I had enough money back in the days and I had go back, which I kind of did, I should have bought the black diamonds, because first of all, black diamonds are very trustworthy. They go through rigorous tests, and they're UIA certified, and I trust them 100%. Now, these aftermarket brands, so-called Chinese carabiners or whatever quick draws these are also UIA certified. But let me tell you guys this: these cheap brands will pay their fees to get tested in the IAAA and stop, just so they can have their certification on that stamp. After that, they stop paying them for their testing and stuff, and they just continues to make these, and I don't trust that. Brands like Black Diamond and Pexo and stuff, these people continuously contribute their earnings to UIAA, because UIAA is certified company that actually tests these gears all the time, and I gotta truly respect that. You know, Black Diamond and Pexo and other companies, they actually keep paying these fees to say, hey, here's some money for you guys to so you can do some tests and be certified to keep our climbers safe, and I gotta respect that. So I'm not gonna buy these kind of quick draws anymore. I'm gonna go buy me a Black Diamond. I like Black Diamond. Some pixels are really good too, so when I get into market, I'll look into that. So that's what I know about quick draws. But make sure, most importantly, you can get the cheaper ones if you're on a budget, but get yourself 2 sets, at least 12 of them, because I'm gonna explain to you guys when we get into carabiners, which is what we'll talk about next. All right, so carabiners. You're gonna be needing carabiners to blade people and certain stuff, and there's different kind of carabiners, and there's a whole tutorial that needs to go into there, but I'm not gonna talk about that right now. Basically, you're gonna need about 6 carabiners, okay? And I also have the Black Diamond, and I have aftermarket ones. I trust these still too, because they broke these, and these broke at like 30 kilonewtons. But I still now I'm starting to get into Black Diamond gears and pesos and stuff, and because I trust those gears, because I'm starting to do a lot of track climbing stuff. Basically, you're gonna need 4 to 6 carabiners, okay? Locking carabiners. There's also carabiners that do not lock, that sort of look like something like this. There's non-locking carabiners, and there's locking carabiners. Get yourself about 6 locking carabiners, okay? The reason why that is, you're gonna be able to blade people. You're gonna need some here and there to learn some safety stuff. Most importantly, you're gonna need it for your anchor. If you decide to make yourself a self-anchor system, and you know, you're gonna need some carabiners for your ropes to go through. So get yourself about 6 carabiners, and that should kind of get you going through the helmet and the quick draws. Now that we were talking about the anchors, let's talk about that. Now, anchor is what you need at the very top, where you actually need, there's a lot of equalizing, and there's many things that go behind that, and those videos will be coming up sooner, but I want to give you guys a quick different ways. You can set up an anchor by taking 2 quick draws. That's why I'm telling you guys to get 2 different sets of the quick draws, because you can use these to go put yourself onto the rock, opposite of pose, and this way you can use this for an anchor, okay? So this is gonna be your anchor system right here, and then you can play off of that, okay? Now, I personally don't like to use my quick draws, because I want to use my quick draws for longer, so I'll create my own, which you, at that point, you can make yourself your own anchor system that will fit perfectly good for you. And 2 anchor things, so that takes about 4. You need 2 for the boats, 2 anchors, both at the top, and you're gonna need 2 to put your rope through, and to be safe. So that's 4 that you need automatically, and the 2 extra you need, you're gonna need one for the blading device down there, and you need it. So get about 6 carabiners, and if you can afford it, get yourself Black Diamond, Peso, other name brands. And there's many different kind of carabiners. So I'll throw some videos in the future, but you will need about 6 carabiners. I believe each carabiner costs about like $10 to $20. If you get a set, I think 50, 60 bucks. So that's the price of that right now. So we went through helmets, anchor system. Okay, you also need a self-anchor system. Let me tell you guys about this. This is the one that goes into your harness, and you hook yourself for safety when you get up to the top to the anchor, right? I was on a budget, and I had got me some nylon sling. I tied an overhand knot, and I put this through my loop, which, you know, I'll come out with more videos in the future about that. And then I was using this, and then it got to a headache because sometimes I need to be short, I want it to be long, you know, other situations, right? So this worked for me for the first season that I climbed, but then it was very inconvenient. So what they have is Motorius, I believe, sell this self-anchor system that has loops like this. Now, if you're on a budget, this will work. I think these cost like maybe 10 bucks at the most, $12. You know, it's very cheap, very convenient. These right here, the self-anchor system made by Motorius, I believe this was like $45 one. But this is so super common. So if you can afford this, to get one of these, you put it through your loop. It comes out just like this. So if you need tightness, you go here and you lock yourself to anchor yourself up to here. Or if you actually need some space, you can go up here and anchor yourself up here. This is super convenient, and eventually all climbers need one of these. So if you can afford it, or just pay the extra $30, $40 to get this, I would suggest that. But if you're on a budget, nylon sling too. It's okay. They'll both work. So that's it for the anchor system self-anchoring. All right. So next one we got is you're gonna need a blading device. Okay. There's a couple of different kinds. There is the ATCs, which is one story in itself, and I'll explain that there. And there is a Grigri. Look, if you're a beginner climber and you can afford it, go get yourself a Grigri, okay? If I did not get a Grigri at first, and I regret I didn't, because I was on a super budget low and I wanted to start climbing right away. So I got me, the cheaper version was an ATC, and I even made a mistake in those, which I'll go over. But get yourself a Grigri if you can fit it. These are like $100 each, okay? It's worth it. I would trust this with my life. I trust with it every single day. So get yourself, these are the most reliable blading devices that I know of so far in the climbing world, okay? You can also get away with the ATC. Now there's different kinds of ATCs. There's ATCs without this loop here that comes just like this. I believe it's like 20 bucks, cheap. You can get away with using this device. But when you purchase this, if you're gonna purchase one, let me suggest to you. I forgot the name of it, but get one that has an extra loop over here. Because if you, and I believe it's only like extra $7, $8 for one that comes with this. Invest yourself and pay the extra little money to get this one. The reason why, because soon you're gonna do sports climbing, then you get to multi-pitching, and when you get to multi-pitching, you're gonna need that. Trust me. So get yourself with the little extra, I forgot the name of it, but get one with the extra loop in here. And I think these run about $30, so you can use these. But overall, for blading devices, I trust the Grigri the most. When my daughter go climbing, I ask her to get bladed by the Grigri only. I tell her and her friends are not allowed to use this because I trust that Grigri that much. All right, guys, I think we went over most of it. This right here is gonna probably take up the most of the time, so let me do own segment here. One thing about ropes, there's definitely a lot of things that you need to know about ropes. Okay, first of all, there's many kind of ropes, but two major ones. You're gonna have dynamic and static ropes. Okay, now these two different things. Okay, static rope is non-stretchy, does not stretch. It is straight hard surface, and a lot of people that do repenning and other stuff will use those. The dynamic ones are a little bit stretchy. Let me explain to you guys about that. When you're rock climbing and you fall, you don't want a rope that is hard and just stops you right away, right? You kind of want to have an idea of, it's almost like a bungee, right? It kind of pulls you down, slows you down second by second, and gradually stops you, right? So those are the ropes that you'll need to rock climb. Okay, the dynamics. These are the ones that you need. Not static. Static are for like more rappelling and other devices. So if you're rock climbing, get yourself dynamics ropes. Okay, let's see. There is many kind of name brands. I have experience with Edored, and I'm very happy with their rope. But Mammoth, Black Diamond, Sterling, Pexo, Blue, Wet Blue, something like that, they all have ropes, and they all might have a little bit something different about it, but basically they're very safety tested, and they're regulated. So choose the right one for you, right brand, whatever you feel. I personally don't like the Black Diamonds, because when I fall on the Black Diamonds, it seems to be a little bit more stretchy than some other ones. So I stay with my first brand that I have. This rope that I have, I had it for like 2 years and still looks new. It's a good climbing rope. I typically you want to pay about $180 to $200 for some rope. Depends how long it is, how short it is, how the width and all that stuff, which we'll get into. But yeah, that's what you need to know about that so far. Okay, guys, listen. Regardless where you're climbing, I don't know where you're climbing, but I climb here locally here in Las Vegas, Red Rocks. And typically the two typical ropes that you get is 60 meter and 70 meter rope. Okay, 60 meter is 196 feet and 70 meter is 229 feet. Okay, let me tell you guys something. Buying a 60 meter rope is plenty good enough. It'll get you up and down most of the climbs. But in Las Vegas, there is good handful of pitches that actually is about 100 feet. Okay, if you look at Red Rock climbing books, you'll see that some of the climbs are 100 and sometimes a little bit over. Now, with the 60 meter, you can get away with it, right? But you're missing, if you go up 100 feet, you need to come 100 feet down. And if you're missing 4 feet, that's about high. And I'm not willing to risk that, okay? So for me, what I did, my first set of rope, I got me a 70 meter, because 129 is going to be enough for me to cover most of the climbs in probably about 95% of the climbs in Red Rock. Plus the ones, I don't know about the ones that I haven't climbed yet, but no, I think that's typically, okay? So keep that in mind. If you live around a place where a lot of climbs are short, 60 meter, because you also have to take a consideration of how heavy the rope is, all right? Just 10 meters, there's a whole big difference of the weight between those two. Next thing you want to know is the width of the rope, okay? All right, guys, if you are just now starting to climb off, get yourself a 9.8 width, okay? Don't get any lower than that. It's either 10 millimeters is okay too, 10.2, but around that range, even 9.6. But don't get yourself real thin ropes, because, most important, guys, the thicker the rope, more static you create from your devices, and more safe it's gonna be for you, okay? Now, once you start getting to multi-pitching, you have the other rope, doing multi-pitching, and you have to bring other ropes. Weight comes into effect, and you want to keep minimum weight when you do multi-pitching. So that's another fact. But right now, we're just basically trying to get out of go out there and climb, and we're just basically trying to get started. Okay, so get yourself. What I did was I got me a 9.8 millimeter width with 70 meter rope, because 70 meter rope will get me basically up and down most of the climbs here at Red Rock. I do give you negative about having a 70 millimeter. They're sometimes too long and you have too much rope just laying around everywhere. So, but if you can deal with that, hey, I'd rather be safe and have extra rope than not have it. But I'm actually looking into buying another rope. The second set of rope I will purchase will be a 60-meter rope because I'm gonna do some more kitching, and I'm gonna keep probably my width at like 9.4, 9.6. You know, I'll see how they work, but that's what I'm gonna do as my second set. My first set, I got me some 70-meter rope and 9.8 width. I believe that's it about for the ropes too. Now that you learned everything about the gears that you need to go climbing, get yourself some gears and go have fun. All right, guys, stick around because I got some videos that's coming up that I'm gonna be explaining, breaking down every single little thing one by one. You know, what kind of anchor system there is, how you make an anchor, what's so safety about anchors. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind all of this than just buying equipment. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys soon. We'll go quickly over some slings. You have to go pee? Yeah. Most importantly, we're gonna go over some safety things. Last but